professional, also a perfect record. 35 fights, 35 victories, including 32 wins by knockout, including 22 consecutive KOs, and he has KO'd every opponent he's faced over the last 8 years. This Olympic medalist from Karaganda, Kazakhstan, is the reigning, defending, undefeated, universally recognized true middleweight champion of the world, Gennady Golovkin,
John Jones is a bad guy. That guy, if we were living 1,000 years ago, he would be on a horse with the biggest battle axe, waiting in the back, hacking heads off, and everybody would be running. And those people have always existed. These dominators have always existed.
And I just wanted to talk about the African Union because obviously our president is the chairperson of the African Union, and I see that one of their goals, which I did over here, was a free and interconnected air transport market that's obviously operated and owned by Africa, So I wanted to obviously, if you don't know, then, well, you know now that I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. And I'm just a huge fan of any South African really that's doing something at scale and just doing something big, So we'll get into patriotism and nationalism at the end, but I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, and obviously his philosophy on open sourcing, which is why I give away all my ideas, and I just want them to be worked on with the best people and by the best people, and I want to add my input into their ideas, and I just want to foster that culture of South Africa, of working together and spreading Ubuntu. So to talk about that, I would just like to say the key to obviously what the African Union wants is a dynamic pricing strategy, which is an economic model that you can just quickly read up on, and this dynamic pricing strategy you need to think about blockchain integration, utilizing supply chain artificial intelligence that creates shipping documents minted in NFT formats for security as well as legal reasons. Dynamic pricing strategy utilizes the already variable nature of airline prices, yet the parameters and borders of common market sense. This enables the shipper consignee to agree to pricing structures in a format of an open exchange forwarded contract, meaning a buyer and seller can both agree to shipping prices prior to the goods ready date. These figures are confirmed by the airline in advance, enabling the buyer and seller to make an agreement and negotiate on what the best terms might entail for each camp. This is why it would be a good idea to have a good supply chain consulting firm aimed at not only lobbying with transport agencies and carriers for the best routes, rates, space, and dates. Not only that, but will diligently fight the good fights against the bad deal on behalf of either their clients, the shipper, and consignee. Lobbying is a lost art that this firm happens to be a master of. Tariff codes, new regulations and deregulations, navigating choppy water and managing to hold your breath in the wake of another riptide can be a hard sport in terms of global shipping and supply chain. This is without discussing the new emergence of the future titan of banking. Trade finance and or supply chain finance, the dark horse of market sectors and the dark nights of the world economy. Trade finance is underrated because it's misunderstood. Probably a good thing too. A bad thing that I'm telling you this, probably, but a good thing overall. You see, just firstly, if you own a business, you always want to take as much credit as available to you. Some use it to scale their business, others use it to fund their lifestyle. The point is though, credit is a good thing if you're in business. Right? If you're in business, it's a really good thing. Leverage is a concept, and just like a toolbox, there are many instruments. Credit is an instrument of leverage. Leverage is a proponent of credit. Credit credit isn't bad when it's someone else's credit you own. When buying your materials internationally, it's probably good to check with your bank if you can get trade finance. And just quickly to segue to this, like I've had a bunch of clients, like if you didn't know, I have some experience in the supply chain industry. I've had a bunch of clients that are actually on the blue chip level or like a very big $billion like kind of company on the private side, where they take facilities in terms of trade finance all the time from banks, because that is the smart way to globally trade, so it's just misunderstood, and there just needs to be some public education. But yeah, the facility doesn't appear on your balance sheet, which means you don't have a nut to crack with the auditor. Besides this, you're now able to operate with liquidity free of hassle in a process that is arguably more streamlined than a far bunch of other products. It's a shorter term than a conventional business loan, oftentimes lower interest rates that are for sure lower than an overdraft, and for sure are longer terms than an overdraft. Besides this, insurance guarantees your credit with your lender, so it isn't like a conventional loan, which you probably got after I said it doesn't appear on your balance sheet. Better rates than a conventional loan and longer terms than an overdraft, and your facility is guaranteed with an insurer. I think this would be the key to forge a new open transport market within the African Union. Besides this, I think the introduction of trade finance working within unison of a system built on blockchain technology that adopts supply chain and artificial intelligence with aid from a hybrid dynamic pricing strategy model, consultants aiding corporate, public and state lobbying efforts, as well as increased public education, will enable the African Union to create the first globally traded global trade market, which tranches graded insurance guarantees and graded shipping NFTs, utilizing the newfound data of global trade patterns to predict future global trade patterns in the effort of obviously aiding the inception of a new economy, as well as the adaptation and adoption of the necessary technology needed to aid its facilitation, referring to this globally traded global trade markets. So that's the big one for the African Union.